Imagine a world where our forests are disappearing, our oceans are polluted, and the air is filled with toxins. This is not a dystopian future, it is the reality we are facing right now. The consequences of our actions are becoming more evident every day, from extreme weather events to the loss of biodiversity. But here's the thing, we have the power to change this. We have the knowledge and the resources to make a difference. By embracing sustainability, we can ensure a better future for ourselves and generations to come. In this video presentation, we will explore the urgency of environmental issues, the impact they have on our planet, and most importantly, the actions we can take to create a more sustainable world. Together, we can make a positive change. What are these major environmental problems? Climate change is a significant environmental problem that is causing major changes in our planet Earth. It refers to the long-term alteration of temperature and typical weather patterns, resulting in various negative impacts on ecosystem, communities, and economies. The main cause of climate change is the increase of greenhouse gas emissions, primarily from human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes. Deforestation is the process of clearing or removing trees and forests from a particular area. It is often done to make space for agriculture, urban development, or cultural purposes. Deforestation can have significant negative impacts on the environment, including loss of biodiversity, disruption of ecosystems, and increased greenhouse gas emissions. Pollution is the presence or introduction of harmful substances or pollutants in the environment, which can have negative effects on living organisms and their surroundings. Pollution can occur in various forms. Air pollution refers to the contamination of the air with the pollutants such as gases and chemicals. Sources of air pollution include industrial emissions, vehicle exhaust, and burning of fossil fuels. Water pollution is the contamination of bodies of water, such as rivers, lakes, and oceans with pollutants like chemicals, sewage, and waste materials. These can have detrimental effects on the aquatic life and can make water unsafe for human consumption. Soil erosion occurs when pollutants such as pesticides, chemicals, and waste materials contaminate the soil. This can affect the plant growth and fertility of the soil. Lastly, noise pollution refers to the excessive or disturbing noise levels that can be harmful to human health and well-being. It can be caused by various sources including traffic, industrial activities, and construction. Loss of biodiversity refers to the decline or extinction of various species and the reduction of genetic diversity within an ecosystem. The main causes of a biodiversity loss include habitat destruction, pollution, climate change, overexploitation of natural resources, and the introduction of invasive species. Water scarcity refers to the lack of sufficient available water resources to meet the demands of a particular region or population. Factors contribute to water scarcity include population growth, climate change, pollution, and inefficient water management. Water scarcity can have severe consequences for both humans and the environment. It can lead to a lack of clean water for drinking, cooking, and sanitation, which can result in the spread of diseases. It can also affect agriculture and food production, as water is essential for irrigation.
Good day everyone, I am Alame Asibram Kitani, and in this part of the video, we will discuss the causes and contributors of environmental problems. This includes industrialization, unsustainable agricultural practices, greenhouse gas emissions, and overconsumption. Are you ready? Let's get started. Industrialization. Industrialization is the process of transforming the economy of a nation or region from a focus on agriculture to reliance on manufacturing. It affects the environment through burning fossil fuels that produce smoke and emissions which pollute the air. And because of that, it leads to increased release of large amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which causes climate change. Waterways were also heavily polluted through the use of oil and debris. Because trees are cut down to construct factories and buildings, industrialization causes deforestation, which leads to landslides and heavy floods. Unsustainable agricultural practices. Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising livestock. An example of unsustainable agricultural practices is the use of chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides, which impacts the ecosystem through contaminating soil, animals, and other vegetation. Chemicals also poison bodies of water and marine life, which can lead to water scarcity and pollution. Agriculture is one of the main root of deforestation and loss of habitat through the expansion of farmland. Greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gas emissions are strengthened by human activities. It is caused by burning fossil fuels that causes climate change and global warming. Examples of these are the increased use of transportation such as cars, trains, and motorcycles, which is powered by burning fuels. Simply going to a nearby store using a motorcycle instead of walking contributes to global warming and climate change. And also burning plastics in our backyard contributes to it too, for the reason that plastics are made of fossil fuels such as coal, natural gas, and crude oil. Overconsumption. Overconsumption is the excessive use of goods and services. An example of this is the consumption of food. When buying a lot of food, it is expected that some of it will not be consumed and go to the landfills and rot, which produces methane, a type of greenhouse gas. We all know that greenhouse gas contributes to climate change, and climate change causes water scarcity.
What is sustainability? Sustainability refers to the ability to maintain or support life over the long term by meeting the needs of the present generation without depleting the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainability aims to ensure that resource use, development, and progress occur in a manner that promotes environmental conservation, social equity, and economic prosperity. This often involves implementing practices and strategies that minimizes the negative impacts on the environment, promote social well-being and inclusion, and support economic development that is both environmentally and socially responsible. Now, let's dive into the different sustainability principles. There are various sustainability principles that guide actions and decisions to achieve sustainability. Here are some of the principles of sustainability. The first one is interdependence. recognizing that all ecological, social, and economic systems are interconnected and can be impacted by human actions. Stewardship, taking responsibility for the wise and ethical use of resources, ensuring their long-term availability and minimizing negative impacts. Conservation, promoting the efficient use and preservation of resources by reducing waste, adopting sustainable practices, and protecting biodiversity and ecosystems. Collaboration, encouraging partnerships, cooperation, and knowledge sharing among stakeholders such as governments, businesses, communities, and individuals to solve sustainability challenges collectively. Long-term thinking, focusing on evaluating impacts and decision-making with a perspective that considers future generations' needs and the overall well-being of the planet. Sustainability principles also includes the 4 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and the fourth one is responsible resource management. Reduce. Reducing refers to the act of using fewer resources or generating less waste in the first place. Examples: using energy efficient appliances and light bulbs to reduce electricity consumption. Reuse. Reuse involves finding new uses of items to extend their lifespan and prevent the need for disposal. Example: using glass jars from food products as storage containers for spices or leftovers. Recycle. Recycling involves the process of converting waste materials into new products. Examples: recycling paper products to produce new paper or cardboard. Responsible resource management refers to the efficient and sustainable utilization, protection, and conservation of natural resources to meet the needs of present and future generations. Example: reforestation, planting new trees to replace those that have been harvested, ensuring the long-term vitality of the forest. These sustainability principles serve as guiding frameworks for adopting sustainable practices and policies that help achieve environmental sustainability. Also, sustainability principles are very crucial for maintaining a healthy environment and ensuring social well-being.
Have you ever wondered what impact our daily choices have on the planet we call home? From the food we eat, to the clothes we wear, to the way we power our homes, every decision we make has an impact on the environment. In this video, we are going to explore the critical issue of climate change and environmentalism and what we can do to reduce our carbon footprint and live more sustainably. Having sustainable practice refers to adopting practices and lifestyle that aim to minimize negative impacts on the environment, preserve natural resources, and promote long-term well-being for both present and future generations. Some sustainable practices that I consider important include renewable energy, transitioning to and promoting the use of renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower instead of relying heavily on fossil fuels. Geothermal energy is heat within the earth. The word geothermal comes from the Greek words geo means earth and therm means heat. Geothermal energy is a renewable energy source because heat is continuously produced inside the earth. People use geothermal heat for bathing, for heating buildings, and for generating electricity. Agroforestry is the interaction of agriculture and trees, including the agricultural use of trees. This comprises trees on farms and in agricultural landscapes, farming in forests along the forest margins, and tree crop production, including cocoa, coffee, rubber, and oil palm. Pixel Building at Melbourne, Australia. The first office building with zero carbon emissions, Pixel consists of a rooftop plot with both fixed and mobile PV panels as well as vertical wind turbines. What's more is that the building was built using uniquely designed concrete that contains half of the embodied carbon traditional concrete has a while keeping the same architectural features. Environmental issues refer to problems and concerns regarding the natural world and the negative impact of human activities on it. These issues arise from the various unsustainable practices such as pollution, deforestation, habitat destruction, and climate change. Luckily, we have the celebrities that actually cares about the environment. Meryl Streep is a famous green activist and one of the famous eco-friendly celebrity. She began her advocacy for environment from 1980s with Natural Resources Defense Council. Streep has been known to take the Fentora of green initiatives. She helps the world with her regular charity works and green consumer movements. She supports multitude of organizations for environmental advocacy and promotes pesticide for free and sustainable farmings. Jane Fonda has used her voice to encourage her followers to take action against climate change and in March 2022 launched the Jane Fonda Climate PAC with the purpose of ousting politicians supporting the fossil fuel industry. Fonda also leveraging donations from those who care about the climate. In a recent video, she said, "Scientists have been very clear. We have to cut our fossil fuel emission in half by 2030.
As a human being, it is our responsibility to protect our environment and maintain its sustainability to provide future and current generations. Here are some actions for individual and collective levels. The first one, individual level, reducing energy consumption by turning off lights when not in use, using energy efficient appliances, and unplugging electronics. Minimize waste by practicing recycling, reusing, and reducing single-use items. Choosing a sustainable transportation options like walking or biking. Planting trees or creating rooftop gardens to contribute to urban greening and carbon sequestration. Educating oneself on environmental issues and sharing knowledge with others to raise awareness. And now, let's go to collective levels. Joining or supporting environmental organizations working toward sustainable practices and conservations. Volunteering for local cleanup initiatives, tree planting campaigns, or watershed restoration projects. Participating in community initiatives to promote recycling, reusing, and waste reduction. Participating in community gardening programs to foster local food production and reduce food miles. Supporting business and brands that prioritizes eco-friendly production methods and use renewable resources.
Being sustainable is very important. Here are the practical tips for reducing one's environmental footprint, supporting sustainable products and business, and participating in environmental initiatives. Switch to renewable energy. Eat less meat. Reduce your waste. Reduce use of single-use disposal plastics. Support local. Drive less. Participating in environmental activities. Volunteer for local environmental initiations such as beach or park cleanup campaign, and join environmental organizations like tree planting, tree nurturing, coastal cleaning, and recycling.
Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound.
In conclusion, environmental problems are driven by economic development and globalization, such as industrialization, which produces greenhouse gas emissions, advancement of agricultural materials that includes pesticides and fertilizers, and also overconsumption. All of this phenomenon leads to pollution and emission of greenhouse gases that causes climate change. When there is climate change, follows water scarcity. Because of water scarcity, loss of biodiversity will follow. This strengthens the idea that everything is connected to everything else. To solve these problems, we must practice sustainability, such as using renewable energy sources, including solar, wind, and hydropower. Practicing agroforestry, which is a concept of interaction of agriculture and trees. Adapting textile building, which uses zero carbon emissions that can decrease climate change and global warming. And practicing closed loop in reuse packaging as service, which can help decrease waste, including plastics. No doubt we have the power to change the negative phenomenon caused by our mispractices. It is our responsibility as human beings to protect the environment. Thank you for watching this video. Let us work together as a team to prolong the life of Mother Earth for future generations.